Okay, so question I have for you.
Yeah? What if I have a question for you?
Okay.
I don't. I was just saying, what if I have a question for you?
You can ask that later.
Okay. All right, cool. I'm just checking.
Okay, so at one point in a video you mentioned the answer to a question like, how are you able to have so much success at a young age, right?
Okay.
And you said that you did something uncomfortable every day.
Yeah. Like
you did the most uncomfortable
Yeah.
thing every day. I want to know more about that.
Okay.
So was this like, so what was it that you did?
So literally when I first started my business, I made a commitment. I had this belief, and obviously something about it worked. So I had this belief that like I was not good enough to have the life that I wanted to have yet. You know, Jim Rome has this famous quote, to have more, you have to become more. Right? And so I realized if I wanted more, I had to become more. Well, the only way to become more is to grow. The only way to grow is get out of your comfort zone. So I had no idea how to build a business. I had no idea how to be an entrepreneur. I had no idea how to coach people.
Yeah.
But I knew the one truth in my world was it would involve growing.
Right.
And so I committed to every day, no matter what it was, doing the one thing that I could come up with that scared me the most. So the one thing that made me the most uncomfortable.
So what was it like?
So
this thing where you would look at your list of to-dos the night before?
It wouldn't even necessarily be the list of to-dos.
Right.
So it would a lot of the times it was just something I whatever scared me. Right? So my to-dos may have been work related, but something that scared me may have been having a difficult conversation with my mom or one of my friends. Like a lot of it ended up, I'd say maybe like a third of it was actually business related. 2/3 of it was actually like personal stuff.
Right.
Like one of the conversations speaking of that, like one of the conversations was with my mom. Like I'm half Pakistani. My mom is like a very loving, but also wants to be in your world constantly type of woman.
Yeah.
And when I'm starting my business, I just quit my 9-to-5 job. She took it as, he's up in LA, we're down in San Diego, he doesn't have any obligations anymore.
Yeah. Spend all the time with me.
All the time, right? And so for me to just go to one of the things that scared me the most was just be like, Mama, I call my mom Mama because I'm a mama's boy. Just be like, Mama, like, I need you to leave me alone for 6 months. Like, do not reach out to me, do not text me, do not anything. If I need anything, I will reach out to you. Right now, more than anything, I need to be alone so that I can focus.
Right.
And that was one of the, I remember that day, I was like, there's no way I could tell my mom that, right? And then I was like, holy shit, this is the one thing that I have to do.
Right.
So it had nothing, it kind of had to do with business, but it was more so a conversation with my mom.
Yeah.
Another one of the things, speaking of the personal things, I called up an ex-girlfriend to ask her feedback on me as a boyfriend. I asked an ex-girlfriend for feedback on me as a boyfriend, on my communication, on our sex life, on everything.
How'd that go?
It was very productive. It was uncomfortable as shit, but it was very productive.
Yeah.
And she actually really appreciated it. She was like, I'm just very impressed that you're even asking this stuff.
Yeah.
And second, thank you for just allowing me the space to kind of communicate this stuff to you, because she had felt like she had a lot of stuff that was left unsaid when we broke up.
Yeah.
Right? So it was a lot of stuff like that it wasn't just about the big scary thing in the business, because there were a lot of those too. A good example of that was, I remember about 3 months into my business, so I had just quit my job at Cisco where I was making multiple six figures. I'm 3 months in. I'm at this point about $20,000 worth of debt, $25,000 worth of debt, and I had not made a dime in the business. And my credit cards are maxed out.
Right.
I'm about 2 or 3 weeks away from being able to pay my next, or not being able to pay my next rent check.
Right.
And I had someone who was a partner from Cisco reach out to me and offer me a 6-figure role, 9K a month, I think, 9 or 10K a month, just to be on their payroll and make introductions. So like a 10-hour-a-week thing to be on their payroll, show up in the office and make introductions, because I had networking with companies like Disney, Facebook, Sony, and they wanted ins.
Yeah.
And I had those connections. And so they're like, we're willing to pay you 6 figures just to connect people.
Right.
Right? And that would have been a very easy yes to take. But the thing that scared me was saying no. I literally had the contract in my car. I'd gone home from our last meeting and I had the contract in my car to sign.
Right.
And I was like, is this purposeful or is this out of fear? And I realized it was out of fear, and that saying no was the one thing that scared me. Saying no was the one thing that made me the most uncomfortable.
Right.
And I didn't know, like, I still to that point did not know if I was going to even be able to make rent in 3 months.
Yeah.
Or in 3 weeks.
Okay, so I want to get into the nitty gritty here.
Yeah,
right?
there were a lot. I
Is
did
this-
that. I
is
did that
this
for
like
almost an entire year.
Is this a daily practice where you just like ask yourself in the morning, like,
It
what
was.
scares me the most?
It was basically I would ask
Yeah.
myself every morning what scares me the most today, and it was that easy. I had it written. I had it written in expo marker on my mirror.
Yeah.
I had it on my whiteboard.
Yeah.
So it was just every day I would ask myself, what's the one thing that scares me the most, and I would go do it.
And you would just do that thing.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the one of the first things that I did. So for a lot of people who know my story, like Jack Canfield's a good mentor of mine and a good friend now, and like one of the first things I did was like as soon as I quit my job, I took about 4 days off, like disconnected, turned my phone off, came back, and the first day back, the first thing that came to me, what was the one thing that scares you? Reaching out to Jack. Right? Like his books had a huge impact on my life.
Yeah.
And so for me, the first thing I wanted to do was see if I could connect with Jack Canfield.
Oh, you didn't know him.
I didn't know him at all.
Got it.
So I literally Googled Jack Canfield phone number. And I found a phone number. And I
Right.
got on the phone with his team. I got on the phone with his head of operations. I was like, hey, I'm Zander. Can I come hang out with you guys? And like 30 minutes later, I was on the phone with his CEO and then on the phone with Jack. 45 minutes after I picked up the phone, I had a flight booked to Arizona to go hang out with him and his team.
Right. Okay.
Like, that was the first thing that I did.
Yeah.
So it was stuff like that every single day for almost an entire year.
Do you still do that?
I don't, and I probably should. I think the big thing for me now is I'm very conscious of when a fear is holding me back from getting to where I want to go.
Yeah.
And I can make better decisions around it now because I've had so much practice on just facing the fear and going and doing the thing.
Yeah.
Because you do it for a year, and I'll be honest, some of them probably weren't very productive.
Right.
But it led me towards this point of like whatever was scaring me no longer had hold on me.
Yeah.
And so when you do it for a year, now, okay, if half of them were productive and half of them weren't, at least fear itself no longer has a hold on me, and I can actually make a conscious and intelligent decision whether or not I need to face this fear or if this is just a waste of time.
You know, I find that fear journaling exercise that you recommend.
Yeah.
So I haven't gone through this practice, and this is why I asked you this question, but I've been doing the fear journaling, and what I notice is if I write the same thing down like 3 or 4 days in a row, I know I need to do something about it.
You know you need to go take action.
And then I end up doing something about it. And it's really interesting, like I'm probably doing that now 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
And just like it's like everything's easy.
Well, something happens when like you just get into the habit of facing a fear and take it. Like Tony Robbins, Jack Canfield, all those guys, great. They always say you got to change the belief first, right?
Yeah.
The belief comes first.
Yeah.
I think that's bullshit. I think it's bullshit. Like you can feel this fear, and like you mentioned, your fear journal for 3 or 4 days, and it's the same thing. And if you just are like, okay, well, I just have to go do something and take action.
Yeah.
That'll defeat the fear faster than trying to overcome the belief.
Yeah.
Right? So if I'm afraid, if I'm on a high dive and I'm afraid of jumping off the high dive, I don't go to therapy for 3 months to try and get rid of the fear of jumping off the high dive.
Yeah.
I jump off the high dive.
Yeah.
And I jump off of it once. I'm like, oh my God, this was exhilarating.
Yeah.
And you climb out of the pool, you get back up, and you go jump again.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
the fastest thing to change a belief or a fear is to go do the exact thing that scares you.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm going to tell you this. I just read through 4 books
Yeah.
that profiled, they did these short profiles, so like Tim Ferriss, Tools of Titans and things
Yeah.
like that, right? Short profiles. And I wrote like a little summary of like what I learned. It was almost 500 profiles,
Yeah.
right? Very successful people. And there were really like 3 things that all of them did.
That's pretty amazing.
And one of them was meditate. Like almost every
Yeah.
successful person meditates. The second one,
Are you meditating yet? Did you pay attention? You guys, it's
Meditate.
not like the 1990s. Like,
yeah.
come on. Just start meditating.
Yeah. I actually just went through a core meditation
Yeah.
course that you sent me to, and it's like, yeah, it makes a huge difference. So meditate, number
Yeah.
1. Billionaires to like professional athletes,
Yeah.
everyone. Number 2 is how they dealt with fear. And almost every one of them had a strategy for dealing with fear, and almost all of them were just, it was like, you're gonna be afraid.
Yeah.
It's like you're not gonna be able to avoid fear.
Yeah.
It's just who you are in the face of fear.
Yeah, how you
Right.
respond, how you act.
Yeah.
Does fear cause you to crumble, or does it cause you to rise up?
Yeah.
One of my mentors, Joel Marion, he built a business to 9 figures in 18 months. Like from non-existent, he was a school teacher, built a business to 9 figures in 18 months. And whenever I talk with him, the way that he discusses anything fear-based so nonchalantly, right? You'll say like, yeah, but like, oh man, what if this happens? He goes, it doesn't matter, just do it. And it's so stoic and so nonchalant, and you go, okay, now I get it. This is how you went from 0 to 9 figures in 18 months.
Yeah,
Whatever fear came up, you're just like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lie. It's bullshit that I'm telling myself. Just do the thing anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love it. So the third thing, just in case you're wondering,
You left me on an edge, man.
is reading.
Yeah.
And the number one book that was recommended was Man's Search for Meaning.
Interesting.
Yeah. There was a lot of books, but that was the number one.
That was the number one.
Yeah.
I like it.
So I love that. Yeah, I'm dealing with fear. I'm just thinking all the different things that I've done, and I realize that the best times that I've had in my life are always on the other side of something I did that was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, just making some uncomfortable decision or taking the leap to quit my job or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That's when the best stuff happens.
You have to go through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's literally what my entire TED Talk is about. It's like, you're either choosing to go with fear or you're choosing to go through it to purpose.
Yeah.
Right? But
Yeah.
you have to face fear. You have to go through fear in order to have anything worthwhile in life.
Yeah, and right now there's a lot of fear.
There's a lot of fear, and there's a lot of people that are succumbing to fear.
Yeah.
And because of that, they're more frustrated, more stuck, and more helpless than ever before.
So would you recommend that people do this year of like doing
It-
uncomfortable things?
If you've got the balls or the lady balls, I think that's the problem. Is just most people are comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, comfort is actually killing more people than anything.
Yes.
Right? It's not lack of food. It's not, in first world countries, comfort is what's actually killing people.
Right.
Comfort is actually causing depression. It's what's causing chronic illness and obesity and all these things. It's comfort.
Yeah.
Comfort is actually what's killing us nowadays. It's not having to run away from a saber-toothed tiger.
Right.
So that's the biggest thing, and most people are just comfortable, and they're seeking comfort. It's like comfort and complacency is an evolutionary part of our brain. It's a part of our programming.
Right.
Like, I think people don't realize that we are evolutionarily programmed to be lazy,
Yep.
right? And I love talking about this because people are like, what do you mean we're evolutionarily programmed? Well, man, as an animal, has the largest brain to body ratio. And because of that, most people don't realize, you might know this better being in the health space, but it's something like 40% of our calories are burned by our brain.
Yeah.
It's something insane,
Yeah.
right? So if our brain is actually high functioning all the time, as caveman, that could actually kill us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we would die if our brain was too active because we'd burn up all our calories and we wouldn't have enough food.
Right.
So our brain is actually programmed to want to turn off as much as possible,
Yeah.
to want to be lazy, to want to be comfortable
Yeah.
and safe.
Yeah.
But obviously we don't have any issue getting food or sustenance today,
Yeah.
but we're still lazy and comfortable.
Yeah. You know, that's why you basically want to take a nap after a giant meal.
100%.
Right? It's like your brain is done.
Yeah.
And have you ever gone through like a 24-hour, 48-hour fast?
I've done 24-hour, I haven't done 48-hour.
I mean, it's like you're switched on.
It's life-changing.
Yeah. 'cause
You're clear as day.
Yeah, because you're just like, okay, food. We need food.
Yeah, yeah.
And your brain is like thinking
Yeah.
about how we're gonna
It's
get
amazing.
food. Yeah. So 24, 48 is about the longest I'm willing to do. But
I had a mentor of mine, Steve Pavlina, if anybody knows him. I hung out with him like 20 days into a 30-day water fast, meaning all he was eating or drinking was water and tea
Right.
for 30 days.
Oh my God.
And I thought I was like a high-functioning, focused person. I spent like 8 hours with the guy, and he was just on a tear
Yeah.
for 8 hours, and he had not had food for 20 days.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah. It's absolutely true. That's
Yeah.
why intermittent fasting is so popular right now. It's just
Yeah.
like, you have this sort of high level of energy
Yep.
that you have. So, yeah. I mean, we can keep going, if this is useful, or we want to stop and do a different one.
We may want to stop and save some more for another time.
Yeah.
We're gonna have plenty of these conversations. If you have questions for either myself or Jay, the newest member of the High Impact Coaching team, make sure to let us know. Shoot a comment below. Shoot us an email. We're happy to share whatever answers you guys want to hear. And don't forget, you didn't sign up for easy. You signed up for impact.